Yo, what is up, everybody? Teresco back again with story number 5 from Insomnia Horror Collection, written by Noctis Draven. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Story number 5, the last fight we ever had. I grew up living with my cousin Gilbert. He lost his father at an early age, and he and his mom started living with my family shortly after, as money was hard to come by for a single mom. If you asked anyone what it was like, they would no doubt answer with chaotic. See, for some reason, Gilbert and I fought a lot. I mean, literally about everything from day one. Bedrooms, food, television station, the weather. Any excuse we needed, we fought. I can't really say why, but during those days, I hated him. And I don't think it would be a stretch to imagine he hated me also. Looking back now, I wonder if it was because I was young and didn't understand that his living with us and taking up our space and resources wasn't his choice, but a necessity. So, that was us. We fought, days trickled into months, and those into years. Nothing really changed, except we became adults. It ended though. The fighting, the anger, and hatred. It all ended that day at Debbie's birthday party. I must have been 19 by this time, and Gilbert was only a year younger than me. We were at a close family friend's birthday party, and we did a great job at making it awkward for everyone by fighting over the most ignorant things. This time was a little bad because it got physical. I remember actually slapping Gilbert across the face with a cord from a toaster. He retaliated by kicking a chair over that hit me in the knee and fell into one of the guests' baby. We both apologized, but the damage was done. It was kind of a party killer, and shortly after, everyone started to go home. It was getting dark, so we used it as an excuse to go as well. I was driving, and Gilbert, of course, bummed the ride from me like usual. Looking back on it, for two people who had hated one another, we sure spent a lot of time together. So, there we were, side by side, in the car, driving home together, after successfully ruining a birthday party, hurting a kid. Proudest moment for us both. This, of course, started another argument as to where the blame belonged. We ended up on a back road off the main interstate because some overnight road construction had sprung up while we were at the party. I didn't pay well attention as the argument was getting heated. The road was dark and getting darker. Where we were at a kind of a rural, so there wasn't much in the way of streetlights. Guess we didn't pay it any mind, which was important at the time, because placing the blame and hurling insults is what we were doing. Yes, we were so into it that we barely managed to notice a passing lone black man standing on the side of an empty road. We just kept going at it. Gilbert would turn on the radio to drown me out, and I'd reach over to turn it off. About a mile down the dark 2-lane road, we passed another lone black man, just standing there, only illuminated by our headlights as we passed. It got a bit quieter in the car as we both paid a little more attention to what was going on. Gilbert looked over his shoulder and back at me, but I had nothing to say yet. Another 3/4 of a mile, and true to form, there he was again on the side of the road. This time, there was no mistaking it. It was the very same man. We both knew it. Gilbert reached over and turned the radio off himself, this time, then looked at me with a face I have never seen on him before. Terror. Claudia? Was that? Yes, I really hope not. But I knew it was. It had to be. Unless a group of very similar looking black men were out playing a prank in the middle of the night for a random car on the road, it was dead quiet in the car now. And all we heard were the sounds of us going over the cracks on the road, the wind. The strange, dead peace would not last. To our terror, but not surprise, we were coming up on the same man on the side of the road once more. This time, I had to get a better look. If not only to satisfy my curiosity, but to also flip him the bird. As I approached, I slowed down for a bit. Not slow enough for him to approach us, but slow enough for us to get a good look. What we saw will forever be burned into our minds. One of those memories you wish you could fall and hit your head to forget. As we were now close enough to see the man's face, we could see him smiling. He was just standing there in the dead of night, all alone, smiling at us and never breaking eye contact. He wasn't hitchhiking or speaking or waving. He just smiled and stared right into our eyes. Gilbert started cursing and begging me to go faster, which I obliged. This wasn't natural. Something was seriously off. I went from around 40 to 45 miles per hour, and a mile down the road, son of a bitch was there again. Almost expected him this time. As we passed, the routine began to change. This time, as we got closer, he turned to walk in the same direction we were traveling. We passed him once more. Half a mile later, there he was again. This time walking, but still looking at us, grinning ear to ear, even bigger than before. He walked, but his head was fixed on us, and he moved with robotic moves, stiff and inhuman. A sickness began to grow in my stomach. Even the air around us seemed off. Gilbert was visibly tearing up and was shaken. He kept looking over his shoulder and then let out the most blood-curdling scream I have ever heard from a male. "Claudia, look!" I looked over my shoulder, and the man was behind the car. He was jogging and keeping pace with us. I looked at my speedometer, and it read 45. This was impossible. Massot was passing the same man 7 times on the same road. The sick feeling in my gut turned into panic. I pressed on the gas even more and watched the needle cross the 45 mark. "Claudia!" Gilbert screamed. The man was actually gaining on us. This time, I could see him near my back door. His body and feet were moving at a blurring speed, and his smile was growing even more deformed by the second. It was now taking up the entire bottom of his face, and literally stretching ear to ear. Gilbert was completely in shock and terrified, and so was I, but someone had to keep driving. The situation couldn't have gotten any worse and more terrifying until it did. The man started to grow larger in size. It seemed like every mile faster I went, he grew an inch in height. I pressed my foot on the gas until I felt like I would punch right through the floorboard of the car. Being a small compact car that wasn't really built for speed, I was approaching its limit. The car began to hum as I approached the 90-mile mark. By this point, the man was close to 7 feet tall and running perfectly in sync with us. He was on Gilbert's side with his hand on top of my car, and he was leaning down as he ran and peering in at us through Gilbert's window. His eyes were wide and bloodshot. His smile was massive and disfigured. Gilbert shoved himself to the floorboard and was sobbing, and I was out of ideas. This is where we die. I felt it in my bones. I didn't know what to do, and the car had no more speed to give us. So I slammed on the brakes, and the man tripped and tumbled a few feet back in front of us. I saw him getting back up slowly, and I looked at Gilbert, who was crying. "Gilbert, pray with me. Pray with me right now." I wasn't sure if that would do anything. It was the only thing I can think of. We couldn't outrun the thing, that was apparent, and I just didn't know what else to do. So, Gilbert and I tucked ourselves in the floorboards best we could and started reciting the Lord's Prayer over and over through tears. I remember feeling Gilbert's hand grab mine. I could hear loud footsteps approaching with a wheezing kind of giggle with them. It never came. For some reason, it never came. After about 7 minutes, I climbed up, and Gilbert did as well. We looked around, and nothing was there but us and the night. He was gone. It was gone. We wasted no time getting back on the road and didn't slow down at all. Paranoia gripped us as we constantly looked around, expecting to see the man on the side of the road, or worse, next to us. But we never did. We made it home, and everything was different after that. Gilbert and I suddenly found everything we used to fight over so pointless, just dumb. People noticed the change in heart between us, but never knew why. I have never told this story until now, and to this day, I don't know what happened that night. I don't know who or what that thing was, and I pray I never see it again. That was the last fight we ever had. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story.